Good morning everyone. In this video I'm going to be analysing the live price action for EU and DXY to see what opportunities may be available today. You're going to see my analysis and my strategy, so if you're interested in those then please stick around. Right, starting off here on the daily, as always, EU is on the top, DXY is on the bottom. Now before we get into it, just an FYI, it's NFP tomorrow. The Thursday, Friday in those NFP weeks are very news heavy, and sometimes price just doesn't move very well in the build up to these announcements. So just a quick heads up, right? That'll probably be very patient over the next 48 hours today into tomorrow. So yeah, what does the daily show us? Well, yesterday we closed out as a bearish doji. What does that mean? Obviously we've taken buy side liquidity, come down, taken sell side liquidity, and just closed up around the middle, right? Below the open. Same thing on DXY. If we zoom in slightly, you can see we went above previous daily high, even mitigating a daily imbalance there. So we'll see more on a lower time frame as to why we had that kind of day, but we'll see what happens. So today's going to be about, are we going to continue bullish or bearish, right? So I can't tell much from the daily itself. There isn't much bullish momentum going on, and all of the same confluences that have been holding for quite a while now, quite a few days, are still present, like our SMC divergence with our higher high here and a higher low here. But we also structurally, we made that sort of lower low there, didn't we? And we made that higher high. So we'll see where that goes. Don't want to spend too much time on the daily. Previous daily high and low, buy side and sell side liquidity. Buy side liquidity has been taken already, right? And sell side liquidity on DXY has already been taken as well. So let's go down to the 4 hour and see what that shows us. So quite zoomed in on price here on the 4 hour. Again, just to repeat for newer viewers, we still have this bullish leg here from this low here, mitigated this 4 hour POI and went and created a new high. We left that imbalance behind with 4 hour order block. Now price pulled down, and really over the last 2 days ish, day and a half, price has kind of consolidated around this area. Though yesterday, as you can see from this 4 hour candle where most of the movement was, we took some buy side liquidity above those highs and had a good 4 hour bearish move, taking the sell side liquidity going into that 4 hour POI a little bit. From there we've had a bullish move, and we've come up and wicked into a new high now overnight, taking buy side liquidity. Of course, we closed out as a nice looking sort of high test candle there. So buy side liquidity with SMC divergence, which also indicates weakness, of course, because DXY refused to make a lower low here. So what that concept means is that this move here is seen as a sweep for buy side liquidity to sponsor the move down, and this is a show of strength, refusing to make that lower low for those not familiar with SMC. So into today and this morning, obviously we can see we've had this bearish move for about 2 hours. I just noted this imbalance here just because it was an imbalance. We've filled it. It is possibly going to provide just a little bit of support, but it may have been just a lower time frame sort of pullback. So it was just something to be aware of to see how we closed. So I think the most relevant things here are bullish leg, price consolidated a little bit, creating somewhat of a range, right? With the candle bodies, you can see the bodies all close at the same level and pretty much the same at the bottom. So that's why I call it a range. You can see we're just wicking and taking buy side and sell side liquidity. Now most recently, we've taken buy side liquidity, right? So we've got SMC divergence, buy side liquidity, which is the most important factor, has been swept, right? So that may sponsor a move down, maybe temporarily, just to fill this imbalance, which is why I marked it out. We've obviously still got room here if we wanted to fill this 4 hour imbalance and come more into that discount. Inversely on DXY, we didn't go into the 4 hour order block, not saying we have to. Of course, we've still mitigated a lot of the imbalance, and we've taken some buy side liquidity. So I think we need to take in those factors that I mentioned. So let's go down to the 1 hour and see if it shows us anything else in more detail. So here on the 1 hour, working within that same bullish leg, you can see where yesterday we swept sell side liquidity from these previous lows going into that 4-hour order block, which caused now that bullish move overnight into this morning into Asia, and it actually closed out as a higher high. So we've got sort of this internal bullish leg now as well coming from that discount. Doesn't mean price can't still come down further, but it does show a lot of intention when the 1 hour has now switched order flow, right? Because we kind of looked like we was making that lower low even though the candle bodies weren't closing, but now we've made quite a decent close above that high here. So we have an internal bullish leg. We have an imbalance here as well on the 1 hour, which could be mitigated. So that buy side liquidity above the previous daily high and these highs has obviously pulled back, and I know it's overnight and in Asia, so I don't want to read into the candles too much, but they are quite corrective, and the last hour closed out as a lovely low test. DXY did the same. You can see where we swept some buy side liquidity yesterday where that X is, and we eventually broke down, making a new lower low below this low. The caveat to that is obviously we didn't break below this low, so there was SMC divergence indicating strength. That strength may just be this pullback here, obviously, towards this gap, which is the same as an imbalance here. However, usually when there's a gap on DXY, price does like to fill that gap. So possible more bullish momentum here on DXY this morning to come and fill this gap as resistance as a POI, which is the same matching this 1 hour imbalance here. We could come and fill that going more into the order block here. So good point of support here and resistance there, in my opinion. We are coming back to it correctively, and we have our good bullish leg. Even though we have taken this buy side liquidity, this is more with trend. We've got that bullish leg, mitigated sell side liquidity here, and we broke above, creating new bullish order flow on the 1 hour. Yes, there's negatives like this area up here. We could see potentially that DXY may actually want to reach higher and we want to reach lower, but you can only read the current price action. So that's what I see. I think it makes sense, depending on obviously how price moves over the next couple of hours, that I would lean to more the bullish bias because of this 1 hour leg where we've internally made that high, and we are within a bullish trend here anyway. We've taken sell side liquidity. Things to be wary of is obviously the buy side liquidity in SMC, and we want to see this gap probably filled. So we'll see how that goes, and let's go down to the M15, see what the opportunities for today may look like. So personally, here and now on the M15, I don't see much in way of opportunity, nothing immediate. Now if I concentrate on using the gap here on DXY, which means we have our imbalance just a bit lower here on EU, I think I'll be waiting to see what price does once we come into these areas. So if I'm looking for buys and this imbalance here is around the lows of the Asia session, I'm waiting for price to do something like this, come into that imbalance, break above, break of structure, showing now we've got that momentum and switch to wanting to go bullish from the high time frame POI here, and then we could possibly have some sort of corrective pullback to our low time frame imbalance in order block to continue that move. Of course on DXY that would be something like this, right? So we'll break down and do that as well, break below these lows and make our pullback. So we'll be having our high time frame imbalance obviously around here somewhere. You can see this as sell side liquidity being swept from our internal low as we're going down. So we have that sell side liquidity, then let's say we create something like some sort of low test here or momentum candle breaking above this high here as a break of structure, pull back, creating possible inducement where our lower time frame order block and imbalance may be, setting our order to go bullish with our stop loss just below the lows, right? So personally for me, that'll be the opportunity that I'll be looking for. Again, I'll be super patient today. I won't be rushing into any opportunities because of just the type of week it is with NFP. I don't even want to really look into shorts, especially at the moment, because we have this imbalance here, we have the imbalance here, price would have to completely switch order flow and get some continuation to go for these lows. But at the moment, this is like a bullish leg, so this is a strong low, and this is support, and this is resistance. So there's no point in looking into that for me personally at the moment. So I hope that's clear. I hope you gained value from that. Any questions, let me know in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.